We are joined by UFC bantamweight Rob Font, who is on a two-fight winning streak with victories over Sergio Pettis and Ricky Simone. He is scheduled to fight Marlon Moraes on the 19th. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, bro. Thanks for having me on, man. How you doing?
It's always good. It's always good when we get someone in here from the fight game. It's always good to talk fights, and it's always good to talk to fighters, man. It's always good.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on, man.
So before we get into anything too big, what's going on with you right now? And before we get into more, what do you got going on inside the cage, outside the cage, and anywhere in between?
So, obviously, big fight December 19th versus Marlon Moraes.
Huge.
Just training for that. Helping Calvin Kattar as much as possible with his fight versus Max Holloway. Outside the cage, I've been selling a lot of waste management services as far as roll-off dumpsters, front rear load dumpsters, general junk removal. Just kind of fell into like a sales job during the pandemic, and while I was rehabbing, I started doing that, and just trying to help as much people as possible when it comes to martial arts. I still teach, I still do private lessons. Man, that's basically it, and just trying to stay busy and getting ready for this knockout.
We love to hear it, man, and love to hear the confidence on the knockout side of things. But I saw your Instagram, and I wanted to touch on a couple of things, man. I saw the junk management services. I want to talk about that first. For someone who used to work in that, it's kind of lucrative, man. How is that treating you? How are you liking it?
It's great. It's going great so far. As far as, the sales part is pretty easy. The labor, I definitely don't do. I just kind of just set up the jobs, and I have like my little brother and my nephew kind of pick up the junk removal side of it. We just got a roll-off truck, not a roll-off truck, but a switch and go truck not too long ago. We're just still working on that. So it's getting there. It's slowing down a little because of the winter, but it's there. It's interesting. It's something I'm still learning. And so if you have any tips, man, give me some tips, bro. Like, I'm still getting into the business, still learning it. My brother and my nephew kind of handle more of the junk removal side of it. And then I kind of handle more of the sales as far as the roll-offs and like, the dumpsters, like the 10-yard dumpsters you see behind like stores, like commercial stores.
Yeah, man, that's dope. It's always nice to see fighters venture into stuff outside of fighting, because we all know some of those purses aren't the prettiest, man. But I want to touch on Calvin Kattar, because I know how close you guys are, but for those who don't, explain your friendship, explain your relationship with Calvin Kattar, explain how you guys get along, man.
That's my bro, man. That's my bro. We're super close. He's literally 15 minutes away from my house. We live in the same neighborhood. We train all the time. We travel all the time. It's pretty cool, that the relationship we got, because at one point I wanted to fight him. He wanted to fight me. We were both coming up on the local scene at 45. He basically was the king of the 45 division before I got to Massachusetts. And then I was kind of thinking a little small-minded, like, man, I want to, take that spot and take over.
I'm here mentality. You're here.
Yeah, so I wanted that. I wanted that. And my coach and manager Tyson was like, listen, like, I get it, I understand it, but I don't want to put you in a fight with a killer like that for chump change. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time I was still fighting at 45, and I was definitely an undersized 45er. And he was like, listen to me, I want you to get down to 35 anyways. Instead of fighting this guy, why don't we link up, say what's up, and try to get some work and training to do. It actually turned out to be the best thing I've ever done as far as inside the cage and inside the training camp. He's the man. Obviously, you see how talented he is. And even outside, he's even cooler and even better. And so, yeah, we train each other. I learn a lot from him. He learns a lot from me. We corner each other. We basically, what I'm saying, we're basically in a marriage, man. We see us together all the time. So, that's my guy, man. Shout out to him.
Yeah, man, I see it, and I understand what you mean. With both of you guys coming out of that area, I'm glad I didn't see that fight, man. I'm a fan of both of you, and just seeing that fight in such a small promotion, that's just something you can't do for that little money, man. The damage you take, it'd be a grueling fight, and you were such a small 45er. He's a huge 45er. I'm glad it didn't happen, man.
He's a very
exactly. So, and I didn't realize that until we started having spar. I'm like, whoa, shit! I'm glad Tyson pulled this one off, because that would have been one of the toughest fights in my life. I got paid chump change for it, And everybody in New England would have won. The promoters would have won, and then we both would have lost.
Exactly.
To Tyson again, Tyson had that vision. Like, listen, I'm not trying to put you in these type of fights for no reason. If we are getting into these fights, we're gotta make at least 30 grand. It was like, there's no way I'm gonna put you in there for fucking 1,500 or even that. I don't even think they're offering that. They're offering less than that, you know. So yeah, nah, it was a smart move. The best decision I think Tyson ever made for me, and I'm glad he did it, you know.
It definitely sounds like you've surrounded yourself with the right people. And just to kind of segue into something else I wanted to ask about, what are some of the biggest difficulties you faced in your MMA career, man? There's a lot of things that people don't know about fighters that come up through the regional circuit, and you're one of them. So, what are some of the most difficult things you faced in your career so far?
Um, Difficult. So you know, dealing with the coaches, you know, so you know, the personalities in the coaches, dealing with knowing, because the thing about it is like you obviously your strength and conditioning coach want to push you to the limit. Your BJJ coach wants to push you to the limit. Your striking coach wants to just push you to the limit, and then your wrestling coach wants to push you to the limit. And if they're not on the same page, you're just going to overtrain. And then, with that being said, dealing with that many personalities, you know, egos do get involved. So it's tough, you know, it's kind of balancing that out. You know, that's where Tyson kind of steps in and kind of like shuts everybody up. Like, listen, he's only doing this, he's only doing that. He's not going to be doing this, he's not going to be doing that. And, you know, I think that was the first coming up, that was the hardest part for me to kind of like, you know, I guess tell certain people that I can't do this or can't do that. Because I want to say yes. I don't want to tell my coaches no, you know, so I would say that. And then just staying active, you know, staying active is definitely tough, especially right now during the pandemic and this whole coronavirus thing. Is like just staying active and you know, getting the right fights. And I think me and my team did a good job of doing that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And so let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this interview, man. I want to talk about something that I feel should be talked about more. You've got a very underappreciated UFC career by a lot of fans. I mean, the hardcore side definitely knows who you are. You've been here for a while. You've been facing top guys for a while. But for someone who's faced a who's who of the 135 division and doesn't get the name recognition of someone who may run their mouth a little bit more, how does it feel to still get consistent, high quality fights, man? You're seeing some real top 10 killers out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they obviously believe in me. They brought me in. They put me in there with the killer my first fight, you know. And I've been in there, and we only take tough fights. As far as the fans that eventually come, you know, and I believe it's gonna be right after this fight, you know, that'll come, you know. But you know how fans are. They like you one day, and the next day they're calling you a bum. So it's kind of like again, like the hardcore fans know what's up. The average fans will eventually jump on the wagon, and you know, but it is what it is. I don't take it personal. There's so many fighters on the roster, so I get it. You know, it's tough to kind of like, you know, show everybody that much love. You know.
Yeah, definitely, man. And especially while you're still getting the fights, it's got to at least be like, hey, if I wasn't getting the fights and I felt a little slighted, but it's clear the company believes in you, and the fans will be there. Again, it's harder for the smaller guys to get noticed, but 135, in my opinion at least, is probably the best division right now inside of the UFC. But I want to use this opportunity to kind of transition, and a lot of the general media are treating this like it's a tune-up fight for Marlon, and that just seems like they haven't seen you fight. When watching you guys fight, there's no way this is a tune-up. This is going to be a war. This is just straight up something that I'm sure he's ready for, but I don't think the general public has any idea of what to expect. So what should they expect come December 19th?
That's perfect. You know, it's going to be a big shock value when they see how this fight plays out. Again,
love to hear it.
If anybody really believes it's going to be a tune-up fight for Marlon Moraes, they're definitely uneducated when it comes to MMA. So I wouldn't even pay those people any mind. Yeah, no, you're gonna see. You're gonna see. It's gonna be a great fight, fun fight. But I plan on finishing him.
You plan on finishing him, man. Wow, that's a bombshell. What do you see in his game that you think you can exploit? What holes do you see, or what advantages do you think you have in that fight when you two square off against one another?
You know, I think his boxing is a little loopy. He's definitely kick heavy. I see there's definitely cardio issues, and you can definitely see, you know, once he kind of like once you don't back down, he kind of backs down a little bit. So my idea is to go in there, get in his face, let him know what's up, and then you know, and then just wait for my opportunity and take advantage of it.
Just watching the two styles of fights you guys bring, I think there's a lot of stuff there that you can try and take advantage of. I'm excited, man. I love the 135ers. And I love this fight. I'm a fan of both of you guys, but I love seeing guys like you come up, get an opportunity, and take advantage of it, make the most of it. So, if you are able to take the victory against Marlon Moraes, would you like to get your shot at rematches with either a Sunsao or Pedro Munoz in the future? I know a Sunsao has fallen, but Munoz is just a win away from cracking the top four again.
For top five.
Definitely. Why not? Hell yeah, I would love to erase that loss off my record. But yeah, I mean, regardless of what it is, we have options at this fight. We have big names that we potentially fight. So once I get this W, I'm in a good spot, and definitely have a lot of options to fight big names.
Yeah, man, I see it. So I want to ask you about another 135 fight that's actually about to happen. It was announced that Dom Cruz and Casey Kenny has been announced. They've been booked. It's going to happen. When I was looking at the rankings a while back, I circled you out as a possible opponent for Dom Cruz. Have you ever thought of how it would be to square off with Dom?
Hell yeah. Of course, he's right there. I believe right there in the rankings as well. I mean, he has a huge name. I figured we can get a fight like that after coming off of rehab. But why wouldn't I want to fight a guy like that? It's a big name. So yeah, I mean, he gets out there, he does his thing. That could be another potential matchup as well.
And it's just got to be nice to see all of these opportunities and seeing how good 135 is right now. I mean, seeing your name right there and knowing that at 135 outside of Jan, there's not really a bigger win you can get than Marlon Moraes. I mean, Aljamain Sterling, obviously, but he's getting a title shot. Outside of Marlon, I think in the public eye, I think you would be drawn more to the public by getting a win over Marlon, even more so than getting a win over someone like Corey Sandhagen, even though Sandhagen's coming off a win over Moraes. So if you get the win, you got a 3-fight winning streak. What's next? What are you calling for?
In your eyes.
Yeah, there's this. The TJ Dillshaw's coming back. You have obviously Corey Sandhagen. You never know, man. With the UFC, injuries happen, things happen.
They sure do.
Potentially get a title shot. You never know. But I'm not looking too far ahead of that, past obviously Marlon. And but there's options, man. I just got to go out there, perform, put on an exciting fight, and look for that finish. And from there, I think there'll be a big fight in the near future for me.
Definitely, man. And we're not going to keep you for too long, but I do have a couple more questions. I got to bring this up because your last fight against Ricky Simone came against someone that trains very close to me, and I've got a few personal buddies that know him pretty well, man. And when they saw your fight, they were super excited for it. I was just watching, hoping for a banger. I don't know Ricky personally. It's more of a friend of a friend. But I wasn't too disappointed, but a lot of people close to me weren't too happy after that one, man. Can you touch on it?
Yeah, he's a savage, man. He took a lot of big shots. He was in there the whole time. He caught a big shot in the first round. Got a couple good takedowns. But I did enough to win the fight. I picked him apart when I needed to pick him apart. Hit him with big shots when I needed to hit him with some big shots, and stuffed a couple good takedowns when I needed to. So overall, it was a great fight. We got fight of the night, so we made some decent money. And yeah, man, shout out to him, man. I appreciate you taking the fight.
And just one more before we let you sign us off, man. You've been great, but how can I let a 135er go without asking, how do you see Jan versus Sterling playing out, man? That fight intrigues me in a way that not too many fights have ever intrigued me. Both those dudes really seem unstoppable at the moment, and I have no idea. Every time I watch their film, I got no idea what happened. So what do you see happening? What do you think goes down?
Yeah, this is tough, man. It's a tough fight. I think if Aljamain shows up the way he did versus Munoz and, striking the way he was striking, mixed in with his funky style of wrestling, I can see him getting this decision for sure. So I'm kind of leaning towards Aljamain on this one.
Yeah, and I talked to Ray Longo not too long ago, and he seems excited for it, man. We're all excited for it as well, obviously. I just wanted to say you've been great. It's been about 15 minutes. I hope we got you in and out nice and smooth. I had a great time talking to you, man. This time flew, so go ahead and let the fans know where to find your social medias. Plug all your services you got to plug, man, and just do what you do.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Rob_Font, Twitter, Rob S. Font. If you can, hit the link in my bio. We got the New England Cartel website there.
New England Cartel is dope.
Any support would be huge for us. if you're in the Northeast, New England area, from Rhode Island to Mass, like you need any type of services as far as waste management service, as far as roll-offs, junk removal, any type of 10-yard dumpsters, anything like that, contact your boy. They call me Bobby Dumpsters for a reason, man. Holla at me.
He does a little bit of everything, man, and on December 19th, he plans on bringing home the finish. This has been Rob Fonten. It's been great talking to you.